sir? Good. Good plan, and we put the 100-year-old right in the front row. Good, sir. Could you just stand up so they can see you? Oh, you are? I'm sorry. He is standing. Yeah. He's about this tall is what I'm saying. How you doing? Thanks for coming out. Does he know where he is? He has no idea where he is. How you folks doing? Thanks for coming out. My name's Dave. I'm your host for this evening. And what that means, if you've never been to a comedy show, basically, I come out here, I tell some jokes, you laugh. Well, we're off to a good start. And then I bring somebody up. Then I come back, I tell some more jokes, you laugh some more. And on and on and on and on we go. This woman is on top of things. She's going to be the proctor. She wants the applause card. If you behave yourself, we'll give you something else at the end of the night. Saul said it'd flip you something. She'll wait in the car. All right. I kid, I jest. How y'all doing? You doing well? Do I look all right to you? Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I usually don't get that positive response from men this far south of Algonquin. No, the reason I ask is because I've been on that Atkins diet. I lost 8 pounds. Yeah, thank you. So it's going very well, except for the headaches and the chest pains. You know this diet, right? You know this not the Atkins. It's like protein and fat, which is different than what I usually eat: pizza and beer. This is the reason I went to diet, because I was gaining weight. And I go to see my doctor. He notices I'm gaining weight. He's concerned. He's listening to my heart. He says, "Dave, you doing anything for exercise?" So I'm trying to be funny, so I said, "Just sex." Because I'm trying to be funny. He says, "Oh, you ever try getting on top?" Thanks for getting that. Some of you are going to have to work on, apparently. Get some married folks here. Apparently. So I'm a married guy. Thank you. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not excited about it either. Because it's my second marriage, because I've been divorced. And I don't know if any of you guys have been divorced, but you will be. I wouldn't want to go through that again. It might have been painful. They say that divorce can be an emotional loss similar to a death. Yeah, my grandmother died, didn't try and take all my stuff. Got a little story for you. I go through my divorce. I move in with one of my old buddies. First time I bring a woman home. Go into the bed and we start having sex. Sure enough, it's the bed. 2 of us recognize the sound. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 of us. But it's loud. So the first thing I'm thinking of is, oh, I'm going to wake up my roommate. And the second thing I think is, oh no, he can time me. So an hour and a half later, it's my joke, it can be as long as I want. So 2 hours later, she's been asleep for an hour and 50 minutes. I'm sitting on the bed. Hey, maybe some of you should drink a little more. That's when you can all tell at church this week. Yeah, I was raised Catholic, but I escaped. I don't like to say it was an accident, but I was happy to walk away with no rear end damage. Yeah, like that's the worst thing you guys will hear tonight. My favorite part about being a Catholic was confession, or as I called it during my teenage years, my week in review. I used to stay in that booth for 25 minutes just so my friends outside wouldn't think I was a pussy. I I lost my virginity. The next day, there I am at confession telling the priest. I didn't feel guilty, I just really wanted to tell someone. And I wanted to rub it in. I was 17 years old. My buddy, also 17, also Catholic. The two of us were dating these two sisters. Their dad is a Protestant minister. Right, so you can imagine how happy this minister is to have two Catholic dogs sniffing around his daughters, right? But we're over there, they invite us to stay for the meal, but there's a catch. They're saying grace. And it's not that simple Catholic grace where you recite something, you don't know what it means, and it's over. Two Catholics in the room, this is a little big. But it's this Protestant grace where you have to hold hands, and everyone's got to say what they're thankful for. Sneaky people, these Protestants. So it starts. We're holding hands. It starts going around the table. It's like a slow-moving fuse. And he gets to my buddy and he says, pass. That's it. That's the whole darn joke right there. All right, nice to be back here. I'm living in Massachusetts again. I was in New York City for 2 years, kind of taking my shot as a comedian, and I moved back because I was so successful. And now I'm broke. It's sad. It's sad being broke. Because I can't find help. I read the newspaper, the financial advisor column does not have advice for me. It's like, dear financial advisor, I make $350,000 a year. I've nearly paid off my $1 million home. I have $700,000 in diversified investments. Do you have any advice for me? Signed, Puzzled in Andover. Dear Puzzled, drop dead. My entire financial plan is trying to make sure my father doesn't spend all of his money before he dies. Dad, you've scripted and saved your whole life. What's a couple more years? I say that, but I want my dad to live a long time. Because if he goes first, my mother blows it all in one afternoon at the mall. Ever write to that financial? I could write to that financial advisor. It'd be, dear financial advisor, I make $35,000 a year. I have $75,000 in credit card debt. So I'm thinking about robbing a bank. Dear Dave, that bank robbery thing might be your best bet. You'll get caught, you'll have a place to stay. Try First and Ocean. I tried that. It's hard to save money after you're 40. It's hard to save money. Ever see? I got a book, Saving for Retirement Over 40. Chapter 1. It's too fucking late. First sentence. And how much did you spend on the book? That's $12.95 you'll never see again. I find this though, no matter how much money I owe, my credit card company loves me. Have you gotten the letter? Dear Mr. Adigan, our review of your credit history indicates that you will never be out of debt. Therefore, we've decided to increase your limit. I did write a letter in that case, I did. I wrote, Dear MBA Visa, I am very concerned with your lack of fiscal responsibility. Have you seen my credit rating? On the other hand, it's the start of football season. I really need a widescreen TV. See you in bankruptcy court. Dave. Just trying to build this to a crescendo. It's yeah, it's working, but it's working pretty darn slowly. That's pretty. Hey, you know, my wife and I were thinking about having kids because we don't have enough problems. My buddies just had their first kid. It's so funny too because they're at that stage where you know when your first kid, it's like you're so nervous you can't go out for the next 21 years. You know, and then you have like you have 2, 3, 4. You're in Maine, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. But it's like then you have a couple kids, you relax. It's like, yeah, we'll put the baby in a shoebox, poke some holes, go to the comedy show. Maybe you'll be okay, we'll put it on a high shelf. I like the babies, so you like babies? I love them. I love them when they're at the age we can hold them and their heads flop around. Like a slinky toy. Or you hold them here and they sit up on your shoulder. I think that is so cute. I think that's so cute. And the first wife and I, we didn't have kids, we got divorced. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to experience that for a while. So I compensated by dating a lot of alcoholic women. She's drooling. She said my name. Who's your daddy? That was the big laugh I wanted to go out on. All right, some of you people have to turn up your hearing aids. I swear. This is... How you doing? How old are you, sir? Yeah.
52.
52. It's not the years, it's the mileage. Nope. 39th anniversary of his 50th birthday. The thing is, he obviously does not know that this is a N.E.C.C.O event. He's 89. Thank you for applauding my math skills. Good for you, sir. I'm glad you're out here. You know, I had a gig the other night. After the show, 80-year-old woman hitting on me. I'm stupid. I didn't even know. She said, "Have you ever felt old age creeping up on you?" You could use that line. Thanks very much. What's your first name? Bob? Bob, thanks for playing. Well, how about a round of applause for Bob? We're going to get this show going. Just to let you know a couple of things real quick. We're going to have basically eight students who are coming up here basically for the first time ever. They're students in the class. They're taking it. So you guys ready for the students? Yeah. Let's see what she's got the right idea. You guys ready for the students? Yeah. Go crazy. Go crazy, because these people are up for the first time. They're all nervous. They're excited. And it's going to be great. But you guys can help them out if you're just incredibly fun like Bob has been so far today. All right. This our first performer from the class is coming up right now. This is a very, very funny woman. Please give it up for Ms. Wendy Bowles.
Hi. Like Dave said, my name's Wendy, and I'm a wife and a mom, so I thought maybe I'd start by telling you a little bit about my family. They're fucking lazy. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. Now, I live with these people every day, and I can't even tell if there's any neurological activity happening, you know? If it wasn't for this, my husband would get no exercise at all. And my son's idea of exercise is watching his father do this. Yeah, you know, I could die in the morning, they would still expect me to cook dinner at night. All right, sir, they can cook if you call pouring Frosted Flakes out of a box cooking. But I suppose this could be some form of exercise, you know? But my son is so lazy, our cat's litter box smells fresher than his bedroom. I was thinking the other day, if my son had an Indian name, it would be Sits on Ass. It's that bad, I'm telling you. My husband said to me, "Well, honey, I think he has ADD, Attention Deficit Disorder." I said, "No. He has LASD, Lazy Ass Son Disorder." Yeah, I diagnosed it myself. Yeah. But the sad thing is that there's no cure for it. So I treat it myself with scotch, vodka, tequila. Sometimes all three at once. Yeah. But my family is not the reason that I go to sex toy parties. Just want you to know that. No, they're not. Yeah. Sir, how would you like to be my husband right now? I said, honey, come on down to the show. It'll be fun. Yeah. He doesn't know I went to the sex toy party. Yeah. Where did you think all the batteries disappeared to? I'm not shaving my legs for 3 hours in the bathroom, you know. But I really did go to one of these parties, you know, up in Derry, New Hampshire, you know, living room filled with a bunch of like 30 soccer moms, you know. It was the team fundraiser. Yeah. 2.5 hours I sat around and listened to these women saying, that's supposed to go where? Yeah. Read the catalog, ma'am. It doesn't say rosary beads. Yeah. Okay, someone's having fun at home. Uh-huh. Yeah. But it was pretty interesting. They have the tables with all the stuff, you know, lined up. Kind of like a Tupperware party, but not really. So one table is just nothing but vibrators. And they're all kind of lined up like the 7 dwarfs, you know? The tallest dwarf was black. Yeah, this lady knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. And, you know, but it was pretty interesting. And apparently these vibrators, they're all the rage now, you know, especially with the single women. No fear of sexually transmitted diseases. No fear of pregnancy. And best of all, ladies, you don't have to blow them. Plus, you know. And they don't, you just roll over and snore when you're done. But, oh, and I was reading, I don't know if anybody else saw this in the paper the other day, but if you live in Vermont and you have been with the same vibrator for 3 years, recognized under the common law marriage. You can file joint on your tax return. I might move. But I'll tell you, they're not cheap. They are not cheap. $125 for one of these things. I said to the woman, for $125, that thing better take out the trash, remember our anniversary, and bring home a goddamn paycheck. She said to me, honey, for what this thing can do, you'll take out the trash. She was right. She was right, but it was, you know. But you know, you have to be careful. I had a friend that actually did bodily harm to herself with one of these. But it's understandable because they give them these cutesy little names like the rabbit, the hummingbird. You know, I might be fooled by something called the rabbit. Have you seen the beak on a hummingbird? You know, talk about a needle in a haystack. My God. Try explaining that in the emergency room. Oh, then they had, my favorite one though was, they had one I called the Arnold Schwarzenegger model. It was called the Terminator. You know, you flip the switch, it said, come now if you want to live. I gotta throw that one in there and give it a try. But the lady next to me on the couch, I kind of felt bad, recently divorced. I know she wanted to buy one, but she said to me, you know, they're just, I don't know, they're so expensive. You know, and I felt bad, so I said, just put away your checkbook, you know. Brooks Drugs, $7.99, Oral-B Electric. Thank you.
Wendy Bowles! Wendy Bowles! Oh, she's great, isn't she?
Yeah. This next man is very, very funny. You're gonna love him. Come on down, quicker. I'm gonna start over. Ready?
Okay.
You ready for your next act? Yeah. Guys, very, very funny. Please give it up for N.E.C.C.O.
Thanks, Coach. Good afternoon. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I work at a life insurance company. I do accounting. I count how many guys want coffee and then I bring it to them. And I sort of need the money. I took the summer off and I went backpacking across Haverhill. I I was lucky because I could fund my activities because early in the summer, it was around the 4th of July, I went down to Hampton Beach and I won their soft body contest. The judges were impressed with my uniceps. The other sort of big thing in my life, I graduated from college recently. I lived in a substance-free dorm in college. And what that is there's no alcohol, no nicotine, no tartar-controlled toothpaste. Nothing that can, seep into your system and make you wacky. And I don't know if you can imagine what that's like. I'll give you a sort of a mental idea. Life in the other dorms was like the movie Animal House, and life in our dorm was like the movie Spy Kids. We used to, take road trips to different petting zoos and tickling contests. In college, I got about as much action as one of the Von Trapp family singers. But I did try to meet some girls in college. I signed up for salsa lessons because I like Mexican food. And it turned out, it was funny, that the salsa is this provocative dance where you have to move your hips with grace and speed. It's like this. I'll demonstrate just so. Thank you. Halfway through the first song, the girl I was dancing with and I had to exchange insurance information. I met one girl in college. She was kind of special. We went around for a while. She was great. She wore thick glasses, and she smelled like a library book. And she was a strict Mormon, which was interesting. I saw her one night in a production of the Belly Button Monologues. And we drove into the city to Boston one night. And it was great. It was romantic. The stars were twinkling, and we shared the most beautiful thing that the two of us could have shared: the Nürnberger at Cheers. The other thing I was thinking about. I bought a car recently. I bought a car. And the car dealer told me that it was in great shape, and I believe him because obviously a used car dealer is not going to lie. Although I peeked into his office, he had all his acting awards from the New York City Theater, and I thought it was strange too that after the words Toyota Camry, there was always a question mark on the buyer's contract. This was on the buyer's contract after the. There goes my A in the course. And I was cruising around my car, with the top down around the streets of Methuen. And it's not a convertible either. And the last thing I'll tell you about before I finish my lecture is that when I've sort of had a history of bad luck with cars. Back in, when I took my driver's ed exam, I hit a squirrel and his wife, and a couple of signposts, and dear old dad. But I didn't think I did that much, actual harm. So we pulled back into the DMV lot. I winked at the, examiner, and I smiled, and he was this big state trooper guy, and he was crying, and he started to sing "Safe in the Arms of Jesus." All right, that's it. Good night, everybody.
She's very, very funny. Please welcome.
Chop, Bill Wakash.
Hello, everybody. I'm Indian, but I don't do rope tricks. I don't sleep on nails, and I don't do Kama Sutra. But give me a rope, nail, chain, oh baby. I wear a sari. Everybody knows this is Indian women wear sari, and I wear a sari all the time because I don't want to attract undue attention everywhere I go. But strange men come up to me and ask me things like, is it just a yard of material? You just kind of wind it around? How does it hold up, they say. But sheer willpower. How does yours? People love me at parties, especially after a couple of drinks, a few vodka shots, and then they ask me things like, but what do you wear underneath that? And does it come off easy? And I tell them, yep, just pull it on one end and it spins off like a top. And they ask me then, oh, can we see? Come up and see me sometime. I went to the 7-Eleven the other day, and no, I do not know Apu. People always come up and say, you know, I work at Tech Saras in Boston, and I have this friend, his name is Ashok, and he's from India. Do you know him? There are 5 million of us here. And there are a billion more where I come from. And India produces 2,000 nerds, I mean software engineers, every single day. With sex machines, what can I say? And all the major corporations of America love us. They're just waiting to ship off your jobs offshore to India. Enjoy your Slurpee. There are an awful lot of engineers among Indians. Take my husband, please. The other day I asked him, honey, can you hang up this picture for me? And he comes up with his cute little pocket protector, and he pulls out his mechanical pencil, and he has a clipboard and a calculator, and he's measuring the window, he's measuring the wall, he's measuring the ceiling to the floor, and he's making charts and he's making graphs. But there is no nail, there's no hammer, there's no picture. I have a shitload of calculations on the floor. And it's been 2 weeks. So I just brought my hammer and a nail, and I banged the nail on the wall, and I hung up the picture. And the picture crashed to the floor. And the nail looked like this. I think of my husband. And I wonder how other people's nails stays up. I decided I'll go to Home Depot and get some help. And I saw this guy, Danny, he said he can help me. And I told him about this problem with the nail I'm having, and he said, lady, you need a stud. You're telling me. How do I find one? He said, well, what you need is a stud finder. How do I get that? He said, well, we have them. In Home Depot? You have a stud finder at Home Depot? He said, yes. And he took me down these aisles of hardware. And he gave me this thing. It's called a bullseye laser stud finder. It says right on the cover, stud finder, an alarm indicator to signal when you have reached the edge of the stud. This is a woman-friendly male tool. You don't need your husband at home. The things you can find at Home Depot. Do you all like dogs? I bet you all like dogs. I hate dogs. I mean, they're always naked. And they always want to hump on my leg. What's with that? When I'm in the condo, in my elevator in my condo, nobody really sees me. They come in, they look at the ceiling, they look at the wall. I'm like invisible. But you take a bitch on a leash named Phoebe, and it's a party. You come up and say, "Hi, Phoebe. How are you, girlfriend? Oh, what a good dog you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are." And Phoebe is laughing. She's smiling. She pants, and she's making introductions. Phoebe gets around. She's a slut. Thank you, everybody.
That was pathetic. You guys ready for your next comic? This is very, very funny. Please give it up for Rich Carter.
Thanks, everybody. You hear me okay? Not sure. Not sure what to do now, seeing as how Champa stole my whole act. And my outfit. So what do you think? This place nice? It's here for Mary Mac? All the three girls? You think there's a whole bunch of senior citizens tomorrow waking up, going out to their car, and they're going to say, "What the fuck? Where's my seats?" So they tell me I have 5 minutes to perform, which if you ask my wife is 4 more minutes than I need. I am a dad. I'm the father of 2 beautiful little girls. I love being a dad. It's the best thing in the world. So, thank you. You know my kids? Where else can you play dress up and put on makeup, and sometimes they'll join me. Most of the time it's just me, you know, with the lipstick. Kids are very curious, though. I'm sure all of you found that out. My daughters come up to me all the time asking questions constantly. Daddy, why are you wearing those shoes, Daddy? Daddy, why are you wearing a hat, Daddy? Daddy, why? Why? Daddy, why? Daddy, why? It's like I have a 4-year-old Rain Man. Daddy, why? Daddy, why? Daddy, why do you have a headache? Daddy, why? Daddy, why are you popping those pills? Daddy, why? Daddy? Daddy, why is the stove on, Daddy? Daddy, why is your head in the stove, Daddy? So, this is actually being filmed tonight from Methuen Community Television, which is great. It's awfully exciting. Yeah, let's hear it from Methuen Community Television. I think my kids are actually watching at home right now, so you just bear with me for a minute. Hi, girls. It's Daddy. Julia, put the scissors down! Don't you run with those scissors. My mom's here tonight, too, which is exciting for me to take her a day out of her regular routine and come on down here and join me. I do want to make her feel comfortable, though, so if you could bear with me for a minute. G23. B19. As I mentioned, I do love kids. Actually picked up this book. It's called How to Be a Patient, Kind, and Understanding Father. Every time I go to read this thing, the little shits start bugging me. So I went in for my annual physical. It's actually today. And that was a lot of fun. For all the women in the audience, when I say the word annual in guy language, that means once every 5 years. So I'm in the, the doctor's doing his thing. You guys know what I mean. He's checking me. And checking me. It's actually seemed a little bit longer than my last annual physical 5 years ago. So he's down there and he's checking me. I'm thinking to myself, Doc, this isn't a good time to take up juggling. What are you doing down there? Playing marbles? Let's go! So finally I had enough. Couldn't take it anymore. I asked him, "Hey, Doc, be honest with me. Is there something wrong with SpongeBob and Squidward?" So he's still down there. "Oh, come on, Lucky 7. I mentioned, I do love being a dad, and my kids are so curious. My daughter came up to me the other day and said, "Daddy, what's on your face? What is that?" I said, "It's a pimple, honey. You get these if you end up eating a lot of bad food. And what happens is they build up with pus. You have to pop them." She said, "Mommy has those. They're right here." "Mommy must eat a lot of bad food because your pimples are huge." "I don't want to be around when she pops those, Daddy." It's kind of hard actually having the time to be together with my wife, our alone time, because of the kids. It's not easy. So last night actually the kids went to bed and my wife and I went in our room, shut the door, and about 15 minutes later we were getting all hot and heavy. And, next thing you know, the door goes flying open. Daughter comes barging in the room. She stands there and looks at us and she sees us. She says, "Daddy, why? Why are you trying to pop Mommy's pimples?" Thank you, everybody.
Are you guys ready for your next comedian? This guy is fantastic. I'm just saying that because I have to put that there. I told you to be a professional show. I lied. Your next comedian is a very, very funny man. Please give it up for Saul Goldberg!
Just in case you guys didn't know what I was doing after my 5 minutes, I thought I would just
Put it up.
Okay. Hi, Bob. You always upstage me, don't you? Even just sitting there. As he told you, my name is Saul Goldberg, and I'm a CPA. I changed my name really for business purposes. My real name is Kevin O'Brien. If I do well tonight, they tell me they're going to book me at the Rocky Club in Lawrence next week. And if that goes well, the Chuck E. Cheese in Haverhill. Boy, was it cold out today.
How cold was it?
I didn't hear you. It was so cold, I saw a lawyer walking down the street and he had his hands in his own pockets. So that's been in me for 40 years. I had to get that out. I'm sorry. I saw an ad in the paper that said, be a stand-up comedian in just 6 weeks. So I thought to myself, I've been thinking of a career change anyway. CPA is not the most exciting profession in the world. I started to think, playing in Boston, New York, Beverly Hills, the Rocky Club in Lawrence. Beautiful girls waiting for you outside the stage door. In 40 years of being an accountant, now one beautiful girl that waited outside my office and said, "Boy, that was a great 1040 for me you did last week." In fact, the more I think about it, nobody ever waited for me outside my office. Except my kids when they needed money. And once there was a guy named Guido there when I hadn't paid my bookie. By the way, do you know what CPA stands for? Some of you people might not. Some people think it means cleaning, pressing, and alterations. But most of my clients say it's constant pain in the ass. I come from a family that was in the iron and steel business. Yeah, my mother ironed and my father steels. Oh, gosh, I had to get out. I've been sitting here, you can't know how long I've been in there. So I called the ad in the paper, and it turned out it was a 6-week course at Northern Essex Community College. 5 weeks in the classroom, and the 6th week at a comedy club, performing for only 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes, I said. Well, tonight's the night. What the hell was I thinking? I like to talk a little bit about the golden years, you know, when you're ready for retirement. The kids are out of the house, you hope. The dog died. Now it's time when you have time to travel and go out to eat all the time. But the golden years are also a reality check. Your mind still thinks you're 18, but your body, oy vey. Will you Jewish people explain to the Gentiles what oy vey means? Where am I? Oh. At 18, all you think about is three things, really. Girls, girls, and girls. In the golden years, all you can do is think about girls. My wife went to California recently to visit my daughter. And I thought I would go out of the town and see what's happening. Check it out. Put a little Grecian formula in my hair, put on the new jeans, grab my shades, and sauntered out to the car. I decided to stop at the Dunkin' Donuts first for a coffee and a bagel. I gave the girl the usual $3, and she gave me back 30 cents change, and I said, "Excuse me, I think you made a mistake." She said, "No, that's your senior citizen discount." Well, that made my freaking day, I tell you. I went back to my car and sat there dejected. Took off the shades and started to think, maybe it's not so bad after all. If I go to the Dunkin' Donuts enough times, I'll have enough money to get a ticket to the movies. The senior citizen's rate of force. The first sign of the golden years starts when you're age 50. You get your invitation to join AARP, you know, the American Association of Rejected People. For $10 a year, you're entitled to all kinds of benefits. Well, let me tell you, I've been a member for 14 years, and the best deal I got was $2 off a motel room, the Motel 6 in Seabrook one night. Only kidding, it's a joke. It's a joke. You know what But I'm very lucky, really. I've been married to a very loving, wonderful woman for 38 years. The secret to our marriage is we go to this quaint little romantic Italian restaurant 4 nights a week. She goes Monday and Wednesdays, I go Tuesdays and Thursdays. Another friend of mine, not so lucky, not a good marriage, doesn't trust his wife at all. So what did he do? He had his will tattooed on his penis. But his lawyer wasn't sure it would stand up in court. On Saturday morning. You like that, Bob? Won't stand up in court, Bob? On Saturday morning, my friends and I usually go to the IHOP for breakfast. They recognize senior citizens, that's why we go there. What do we talk about? Girls? No. Sex? No. Bowel movements, that's what we talk about. I haven't gone in 3 days, I'm going 3 times a day and it's loose, and I mean, it's going out of breakfast. Growing up in our house, as a kid, we had 8 people in 1 bathroom. Now I've got 3 bathrooms and I can't go. Any young people know what a colonoscopy is? Unfortunately, you will. When you're 50 years old, the doctors recommend that every 5 years you have one. What it is 2 nurses come into your room. One's holding a hose about the size of his microphone. The other one lifts your Johnny, and they both shove it up your ass. The hose, I mean. And if you're lucky, they didn't forget to give the anesthesia first. And they both have this wild shit-eating grin on their face, like they're enjoying every minute of it. Another friend of mine, his wife was having trouble with her eyes, so she went to the eye doctor, optometrist, took her in the office, held up the chart. Said, "Can you see this?" She said, "No." He said, "Read any line." She said, "I can't see it." Came a little closer. "Can you see it now?" She said, "No, I can't." Exasperated, he came a little closer, Bob, right? And said, "Can you see it now?" She said, "No." The guy was frustrated, the doctor pulled down his fly, took out his wiener and said, "Can you see this?" He said, "Yes." The doctor said, "That's what I thought, you're cockeyed." The worst thing of the golden years is when you get your birthday card from Dr. Kevorkian. And this last year I got it, he put me on his speed dial, he told me. Thank you very, very much. That's it.
You'll be here all week by the meal. Goldberg. Bob, can you believe his language? You translated it? You explained it to the girls? Colonoscopy, I have that a couple times a week. I don't know what I'm saying, boy. It's going to be on Methuen Community Television. Saul Goldberg swearing. Right. So you folks would like to blackmail him, go to the TV station. All right. Bob, you ready for the next act? What's that? We got two more from this class, and then we got Tony N.E.C.C.O who's been on Comedy Central. He's going to close it out. Is that good? I love this guy, man. Are they pumping oxygen into you or what? You're more alike than these people are. Afterwards, you know what we're going to do? I'd say you, me, Matt Demko, and Saul, we're going out doing shots of tequila. You know what tequila is, right, Big Bob? Tequila? Oh, yes. Bottom of the bottle is a worm. We'll let you eat the worm. You'll never see it. Is the worm kosher? He sounds like the Jewish girlfriend I had when I was 23. You get that one, Bob? The worm kosher. People will be like, how was the comedy show? They'll say, oh, there was a funny joke told by this old guy. His friends dusted him off, they brought him out, he killed. Thanks, Bob. That's going to be a good party. All right, you guys ready for your next act? Yeah. This is a very, very funny man. You're going to love it. Please give it up for Bob Chinchillo.
I feel like Richard Dreyfuss in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Damn. When I got here tonight, I went to the bar and I asked the bartender for a beer, and he asked me for my ID. ID? I said, look, I don't have my license on me, but I do have 3 forms of ID. Here's 1, here's 2, and the friar tuck thing right around here, that's 3. Like I'm some 17-year-old high school junior who shaved his head in this pattern just to buy beer. Although I am at this kind of in-between weird age. For instance, in the morning I take a Flintstone vitamin, and at night I take Geritol. Before work, I'm using Rogaine, and before bed, I'm using Clarisil. If I eat Fruity Pebbles for breakfast, I get kidney stones by dinner. So I guess I can see why the bartender asked for my ID. Actually, I really don't drink too much anymore now that I'm married with a 2-year-old son at home. Thank you. I took my son to the mall last year to see Santa Claus, which was nice because it was the first time in a while where I didn't have to go alone. So we sat on Santa's lap and we asked him for a Tickle Me Elmo doll. Well, Christmas came and for some reason Santa didn't bring the doll. I was pissed. I wrote him a complaint letter, but I got no response. So this year, when I sit on Santa's lap, I'm going to say, look, my son better get that Tickle Me Elmo doll this year or else. Because I know where you live. And another thing, Santa Claus, if that is your real name, I'm starting to think you're a fake. Speaking of weddings, a friend of mine recently got married to a girl half his age. He's 20. They met at a playground. He wore a tuxedo, she wore her Cinderella costume from Halloween. Her maid of honor was her older Barbie doll. The reception was at Chuck E. Cheese. Their wedding song was the Barney theme. They bought a house. Well, a tree house. But it came with a built-in easy bake oven. But they can afford it. I mean, they're a two-income family. He sells insurance and she sells seashells down by the seashore. Hope it works out for them. I used to have a job doing physical therapy at a nursing home, which is kind of ironic because there's no real nursing going on there. Actually, the hardest working guy there is the chef, because he has to puree every friggin' thing on the menu. Hi, Mr. Jones. Here's your steak, and here's your straw. Enjoy. Nursing homes are like waiting rooms for heaven. Hi, Mrs. Smith. God will see you now. Bye-bye. Actually, when I worked there, I was like a masseuse for the elderly. I spent half my day giving neck rubs to old ladies with bad hygiene. Mrs. Johnson, how did you get crap on the back of your neck? At that point, I knew I needed a new career. So this past summer, I took my wife to the Dorchester Yacht Club for our anniversary for dinner. The Dorchester Yacht Club. There's an oxymoron for you. Putting a yacht club in Dorchester is like putting an air freshener in a dumpster. Their yachts were more like dinghies with oars. Well, some of them had oars, others had their oars stolen or up on blocks. Unfortunately, we got there right around low tide, so the hostess asked me if we wanted to sit in the stinking or non-stinking section. So after dinner, we went down, we sat on the veranda, and we cuddled and fed the wild rats, watched the seagulls hump. And then, as the sun started to set behind the Deer Island sewage treatment plant, my wife turned to me and said, with a hint of sarcasm, "You're such a romantic." And the next day she filed for divorce. That's all. Thank you very much.
Just for that, Bob, what do you think? Can that Bob come drinking with us after the show? No. You're a teetotaler? Yeah, I believe that. Look, huh?
I drink tea.
You drink tea?
He always gets low.
You mean TT? Or that like 60s drug stuff?
Iced tea.
Iced tea.
Long Island iced tea.
Long Island iced tea. Your chick is ratting you out, Bob. Look at this. Do you know Bob? Oh, yeah? She's got that smile that says she knows Bob in a certain way. Is that true, Bob? You got something going on? It's gonna stop soon? What's your reasoning there, Bob? She can't keep up with him? It's gonna stop soon. All right. Just take it easy, sir, all right? Just take it easy. You come sit in the front, you can talk to me. I'm talking to Bob. Just got to give Jack enough time to move from the camera out to here, but... Oh, boy. All right, well, if you're a teetotaler, you can't come drink a tequila with us, Bob. I'm sorry. It's just me and Saul. Good. Excellent. We'll meet back here in 5 years. All right, you, me, and Saul. Matt doesn't want to come. He's got a salsa lesson. He hurt his back during his set. No idea what I'm talking about. You know what that's like, don't you, Bob? How long you had a little thing going with this tart over here? Is she a tart? This tart right here. Can you move your neck? It's Charlotte? Charlotte? Charlotte. Do you remember her? He says, I remember her. That little thing going on with Charlotte?
Very little.
Not sure? Occasionally. How was the show, honey? I met a new hero. All right. I gotta go on with the show, Bob. Is that all right? Excellent. All right. You guys ready for your next performer? Yeah. This man is very, very funny. You're gonna love him. Please give it up for Jack Dorsey.
Let's do a big everybody. I'm gonna get Mario. Hey, how y'all doing tonight? Just like a couple of weeks ago, some of my techno friends decided it's time Jack gets a computer. So they ganged up on me. Ever see a bunch of guys in skeeky suits with pocket calculators pointed at you? Not too scary. I said, Jack, get a computer. It'll simplify your life. I get up in the morning, I go to work, I come home. It's not exactly rocket science. So he said you could do spreadsheets, you could get on the internet, you can contact people, have via email. I can't get people to write me a lot of regular letters and I'm going to have to get them email. I should have just bought a dog. So what happened was I decided, okay, I'll check it out. I went to the computer store, a portrait of hell. I walked in there, took one look around the place, and I couldn't believe how many different types of freaking computers there were. You got your laptops, you got your desktop, you got these towers, you got these plasma screens. Plasma screens, what is that? You gotta get a transfusion at the Red Cross? So, I'm looking around the place and I figured, all right, I need some help and I am not afraid to admit it. I spotted an associate. So I decided to get his attention. Hey, you, come here, now. I'm a customer, I need help now. All of a sudden, they all disappeared. As if the earth has swallowed them up, and they vanished. Lance Burton would have been impressed. Well, unfortunately, following a trail of corn chips, I found them in the back room, all of them huddled like turkeys, drawing straws. This must be some sort of a cult thing in these computer stores. Well, they were ignoring me, much the same way my ex-girlfriend did. So I just quietly opened the door and just let them know in a simple, civilized voice, excuse me, I am a customer. I pay your salary. Now get the freak out here and wait on me. I just silently closed the door, went over by the register, and started amusing myself with the lazing pricer against the security camera. At that moment, the back door opened and out stepped an associate. God, when I took one look at him, he was wearing cut-off blue jeans, argyle socks, and brown sandals. I was hoping for Bill Gates. I got Bill Buckner. And why he was holding a short straw to this day, I will never know. Every question I asked him went right through his legs. I guess I know how many baseball fans we got out here. Every question I asked him, he answered the same moronic way. No, dude. Sweet. And when he couldn't say that, I kept hearing about the extended service warranty. I told him in not so many words to knock it the freak off. It finally got to a point where I accused him of trying to sell me a lemon, and he had to call a manager to find out what lemon meant. I left that place with a headache and a half, vowing I will never go back in there again. Why didn't I just buy a dog? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's been a great night. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen.
Jack Dorsey! Jack Dorsey! Thanks very much. Thank you guys very much for coming out tonight. You've been a great audience. How about one more round of applause for our comedians tonight? M.E.T., Matt Shirley, Jack Dorsey, Bob Kinchillo, Ruth Bevan, Rich Carter, Papa Dowakash, Matt Member, Wendy Bowles, and